Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us, he is a voiceover actor, and he's also starring in the new horror movie that's out right now that's called The Last House of Horror. I have with us today Gary Maselli. Gary, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Travis.
It's a pleasure having you on, man. So tell us a little bit about your role in The Last House of Horror.
Well, that one was really, really fun. I had found out a director called, the director's called Manny Velasquez. And I found out he was doing a new movie because I contacted him and I said, hey, I've seen your stuff before. Are you doing anything? And he goes, yeah, I'm doing a movie. I said, great. This is what I do. Here's my IMDb. If I can get in, great. If not, whatever. And he emailed me back. He said, yeah, we need somebody that's on the radio as like a police, like commissioner, something like warning the town and stuff like that. Warning the town that this it's like these two psychopaths are out there killing people and everyone stay in your house kind of thing. And it was great. He let me just go. He gave me so much freedom and he said, these are the things I want you to talk about, but just go have fun, make up your own lines kind of thing. He gave me, like I said, a few things to make sure to include, but he said, just go have fun. And it was so much fun doing that. And then I also played a part in that movie also. I played a role called Ben, who was a guy that got drunk and he lost his wallet. And he was calling the guy on the phone saying, hey, I was at the party, lost my wallet kind of thing. And yeah, so those two parts I played. It's always really, really fun to work with Manny.
Now, is it fun? I can imagine it's fun to work on a horror film. I'm a huge horror fan. I haven't been in a horror film. I can imagine in a horror movie, there's so much going on. You got the fake blood, you got the props. I can imagine it's a blast.
Yeah, horror is my favorite genre, and it's always been my favorite genre ever since I was 8 years old, seeing Scream 3 in theaters. It's been my favorite genre. So being able to be a part of at least even just one horror movie is like that's it for me. I'm good.
Now, you have done a lot of not only acting, but you've done a lot of voice acting as well.
Yeah.
And you've even done some work with Looney Tunes.
Yes, I have. It's that whole thing started, I would say, back a long time ago, back when I was in junior high. YouTube had just come out. It was like the YouTube boom when everyone was watching YouTube for the first time, and everything was being uploaded to YouTube, and there was no monetization. There was no people taking things down because of copyright. So you can watch pretty much anything you want. And I was watching all these people do all these voices, and I said, I wanted to do that. So instead of studying, my homework, I would get done with my homework as fast as I can. Then I would just go in my room and practice my voices. It sounds weird, but it has helped me. So,
it sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I just try to learn as much as I can from all the people that inspired me as a kid. Mel Blanc, who did all the voices for Looney Tunes, Bob Bergen, Frank Caliendo. I'm a big fan of. I was watching a lot of him, and all those different voice actors that I just love.
Frank does amazing Donald Trump voice. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah. Well, the thing with Frank is he does amazing everything.
Yes.
I got to see him live, and he killed it. He was just so good.
So, who is your go-to voice that if someone says, "Hey, do a voice impersonation," who can you do on the spot?
Wow. Well, it's funny you say that because I was watching the Super Bowl, not knowing what's going on because I have no idea about football, and Christopher Walken commercial was on.
Oh, okay.
And if you've seen that commercial, it's hysterical. Christopher Walken comes out, and everyone just starts impersonating him to him, and he's just like, okay. It's the funniest commercial. But when people say do a voice, I just get out my phone and do someone like Walken, pow. I do Walken. Trump is another one. Tremendous. It's all about being tremendous.
It's with Trump. You have to definitely do the hands.
It's the hand, the little
hands.
hands. Yeah, the hands make. And everything to him is horrible or it's amazing. It's either
Yeah.
Travis, the show is amazing, or it was abysmal. It was terrible. It was horrible. It's nothing in between. It's either or.
And
Yeah.
it's two extremes. It's a two extremes.
Yep.
Now, who's a Looney Tune character that you voice?
Oh, I've done quite a few of those. It's my favorite cartoon growing up. So I grew up with Space Jam. Michael Jordan, when Michael Jordan was the biggest star on the planet. Then I grew up with Looney Tunes back in action. And whenever somebody asks me about my favorite moment in Space Jam, I don't know if you know this, but there was a moment where one of the Monstars scares Porky Pig and he goes, "Yeah, Bobby, I wet myself."
Yes.
It's like stuff like that is just hysterical to me.
That's amazing. See, now I sound like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
amazing.
Right? Tremendous.
Now, you've been in several horror movies. You've done voice work in them. Has anybody ever offered you to be like the voice of like a killer or the main villain?
Yes. Once there was a movie called Taker of Souls with a guy named Justin W. Smith, and he had this movie that he was doing. It was about this group of kids that go on this land to camp, but this land is haunted, and they have no idea. But this land is haunted, and he had this idea of like this guy that would kill them and come out of the ground and stuff, and be this kind of devil kind of person. And I asked him if I could do the voice, and he said he didn't have a voice originally. And then a few weeks later, he was like, "You know what? Send me some lines, and we'll see what we can do." So I sent him some lines, and I told him, you can try to take the voice and distort it in all these different ways to make it creepier and spookier. But that was fun. But that's one, but hopefully more in the future.
Because you talk about Scream, like the Ghostface has that amazing voice. I believe his name is Lee Wendell, does the voice in the Scream.
Roger Jackson.
No, yes, that's right. Lee Wendell is where the costume Roger Jackson is the voice.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's an amazing voice. Cindy.
Yep. That's one voice you hear and you know where it's from.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I've never met. I met Lee before, but I didn't meet Roger. Roger does a lot of conventions, so one day I'll meet him. But I mean, that voice is just on point. Now you've been into horror. You've been into horror your whole entire life.
Yeah.
What was some early horror movies? I know you said Scream 3 was the first one you saw in theaters.
Scream 3 was probably the first one in theaters that I saw. Yeah. I was about 8 years old. It was the year 2000, and I fell in love with that genre of just being scared. I like the feeling of saying to yourself, it's only a movie, and you're able to go home and go back to reality.
Yes.
Yeah. But horror movies I loved. Oh, I loved Halloween. I loved Nightmare on Elm Street. All the classic horror movies. There was a movie called Tower of Terror on Disney Channel that freaked me out more than Scream. I have no idea why, but it freaked me out. Just a lot of the classic horror movies, then Scream 1, 2, 3. Those movies I would just watch endlessly. Then when I got into older and when I went to film school, I watched movies like Psycho, which is to me like one of the greatest of all time, probably the greatest of all time. Rear Window's another fantastic one. There's
Rear Window's amazing.
Yeah, there's so many horror movies in this genre that are just so fantastic. Right now, I love the Conjuring series. I love the Conjuring.
You like the last one though? I didn't like the last one.
I like watch the movie. It becomes less of a horror movie and more about the relationship between Ed and Lorraine.
Mm-hmm.
But do I like the third one? I think so. I loved all of them. then I saw Annabelle. That was okay. I expected more from the movie, but it was okay. The only movie I didn't like was, say, the movie The First Nun.
I don't like either one of the nuns, to be honest.
Yeah, that movie kind of bored me.
Yeah. Now, Annabelle, I wasn't a huge fan of the first one, but Annabelle Creations I thought was great.
Yeah, that movie, as you know, it just went up. I mean, it got better and better and better over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of those movies I went in with low expectations. I did see the first Annabelle, was like, and then like I went into Annabelle Creations with low expectations, and I was just shocked how great that movie was.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these movies is people have such high expectations, and then they get let down. But I think we should all go into our movies with not low expectations, but with expectations that you don't know what you're going to see.
The last movie I went into with like I did not know what I was going to watch. I didn't even know what the movie was about, and it's like when I first started my channel. It was before I started my channel, and I went to see Barbarian.
Okay.
I don't know if have you seen Barbarian?
Yes, I did.
And I went to that movie. I didn't know what the fuck it was about. I just knew that Justin Long was in it, and I love Justin Long. And I walked into that movie and watching it in the beginning, I was like, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And then it just goes somewhere completely different.
Yeah. And that movie is one of the reasons why I really like that movie is because when you're watching it, you're thinking, oh, it's there's some guy in a secret dungeon or something watching them. It's whatever. And then when you find out what it is, it's mind blowing.
Yes. Yeah. And it breaks up between the stories too, and then it brings the stories together. The two stories together is like, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, when it comes to acting, now, what got you into the acting side of things? You went to film school. What got you into acting?
Yeah, I went to film school, and now I'm in film school again for my master's.
Nice.
And then what got me into films in general, I'd say what got me into films in general was because I was really young. I was born, and every Friday, me and my family would go to the movies. And back then, as you know, there would be a movie coming out every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be like 4 or 5 movies every Friday night that would come out. Now it's like one every month.
Yeah.
There was a great time in the 90s where it's just great movies were coming out and one-off movies, right? Not just like one movie and they would have the full hour and 40-minute story. Now it's like there's a movie, there's a sequel, there's 5 prequels, there's a TV show. But back then, there was just one movie and that was it. And there were so many of them. And then Blockbuster was a thing. So it was Friday nights at the movies, and locally it was Blockbuster too. So I just gravitated towards movies. I just loved it. From when I was so young, I was in front of the television. Everyone was doing sports. I was in front of the television watching movies and watching Batman and Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters and all these different movies that later on, like back then, I didn't understand some of it, and then when you're older, you understand more of it. But I just was so encaptured by these movies, and I just said I want to keep on doing this and seeing what else is there with movies that I can do rather than just watch it.
And I'm the same way you. Like I grew up dirt poor, and we didn't go on vacations for summer breaks and stuff like that. But like our big thing was going to the video store every Friday and Saturday and getting, going to the videos and renting videos. That was my escape. So I've always gravitated towards like 2 things and 3 things: comic books, video games, and movies, because those were my escapes. I didn't, get to go on vacations and all this things that a lot of kids got to do. But the movie theater, I didn't go to the movie theater for the first time until I want to say in 5th grade. And my older sister, she's much older than I am, she got her license and she had a car, and she took my youngest sister and I to see Jason Goes to Hell, which is not the greatest horror movie, but like that was my first horror movie. I mean, that was my first movie in the movie theater, and ever since then I like fell in love with the movie theater. And like up until recently, I was going to even as an adult, I was going to movie theaters like once a week. Like I love the theater experience.
It's such a different experience, right, than streaming. Because when you're in
so much,
you're just in captured by this world with this sound and this huge screen, and you're with an audience that hasn't seen it with you.
Yes.
You're all seeing it together, and it's such an amazing experience. I look at it like almost like a live show.
I do too, and because when I hear people say you can capture that same experience at your home, if you got a projector and a big fucking screen and surround sound, they're full of shit. You cannot experience that. Those are people who I feel like never been to a movie theater before. Because if you've been to a movie theater, if you've been to a movie theater a lot, you would not say that. It's a completely different experience. I've said it many times. I've seen movies in a movie theater that I was like, that is amazing, like Donald Trump. And then I get home and I watch it on a streaming channel, and I'm like, why did I enjoy this movie? Like, it just, the movie theater makes everything seem better.
Yeah, it's that collective experience with the movie goers, and you're sharing this movie together. I remember seeing the movie Get Out, which, if you haven't seen it, fantastic. I saw it twice in theater, and then I saw it at home, and it's completely different seeing it with people. And
I agree.
And because there's like an energy change with the movie, like as the movie's going on, and with the different emotions in the movie, the energy in the room changes, and all these people are experiencing the same thing as you at the same time.
I agree. And there's something also too about like watching a movie at the movie theater, especially a horror movie. It has you on the edge of your fucking seat. It has you fucking shaking. It has you scared because you don't know what's going to come out. But watching at home, I rarely ever get scared watching a horror movie at home. Like it doesn't, the experience is not there.
Yeah. Yeah. When you leave a horror movie from the theater, you're kind of looking over your shoulder.
Yes.
But at home, you're just like, okay, just shut it off and just go back to your room.
Yeah. And the biggest thing about watching movies on streaming services is this motherfucker right here, your cell phone. Like, this motherfucker thing right here is the fucking devil. I love my cell phone, but it's the fucking devil, because you cannot enjoy any cinema at home because of this damn thing right here. This thing is buzzing and this and that. It completely distracts you. And going to a theater, you're forced to shut that off. Not everybody. So some people are playing on the phone in the theater, which annoys me. But it forces you to turn social media, text message, all that off. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm watching movies at home with my friends and they're on their phone, I just pause the movie and I say, "You want to watch this later?" I see you're doing something. You want to watch this later? And they're like, "No." I'm like, I think it's emergencies happen, but I think it's so rude when you're watching a movie and so many of these people put everything into it. Then people are like this,
playing on their fucking phone. I tell the story. So I was telling a good friend of mine a story where something like that happened, and like this is years ago. This is the first Paranormal Activity movie came out. And I bought it on DVD, and I went over to some people's house, and I brought my Paranormal Activity DVD on, and which is a fucking terrifying movie, and this fucking jackass phone rings, and he literally is on speakerphone. "Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, just sitting here worried about watching Paranormal Activity." And he's literally having a whole fucking conversation.
Yeah.
But everybody else like tuned it out. But I'm looking like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who the hell has a conversation during a fucking movie? But I think that's like the norm.
Yeah, it's so weird because like even like you go to the movie theater and the movie's playing, you see people go on their phone and go, "Hey, what's up?"
I know. I'm like, who the fuck does that?
We're just saying on the top floor, the top level of the movie theater, and you see all these lights shoot up.
You see all these fucking lights. And there's nothing worse too. I'm saying a sexist statement, but it's a lot of women though who like love playing on a fucking phone. Like women cannot put their fucking
Yeah.
phone down in a movie theater. I don't know what it's about, and it just irks my fucking nerves.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing that important
No.
going on.
If you're going to see a movie and carve out 2 hours of time, you should see that movie.
Yes, yes. Instagram, Facebook, and text messages can fucking wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it can wait. I mean, you're paying money to go see the movie. Why wouldn't you watch the movie?
I know. And I fucking hate people who have conversations with each other in the fucking movie. I hate when somebody try to talk to me in a movie theater. Like, that's a no-no. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm watching the movie.
Or when they look at you and they go, that why did that happen? Or what just happened? Somebody asked me once, we were seeing a horror movie, and then he goes, "Why do you think that happened?" I said, "Because it was in the script. Now leave me alone."
I hate when you're going to the movie theater with someone and they go use the fucking bathroom. I don't know who has. This is definitely a woman thing. Like women cannot hold their bladder the whole entire fucking movie, and then they come back and they go, "So what?" Whisper louder shit. So what happened in the fucking movie? Like
what I miss, right?
What I miss? Like what? I'm like, well, I'm not gonna talk. I'm watching the movie.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Yeah, you should pee me before you went into the theater.
Right. Yeah. or when they whisper to their friend what I miss, and everyone hears it, and it's very
exactly.
loud.
It's always loud. That is what did I miss is always fucking loud.
Just when they say what I miss, just make up something. Say, Derek Jeter came out and hit the guy over the head with a baseball bat, and there was this huge fight between Iron Man.
Ladies, I'm not making fun of y'all because I know that y'all have smaller bladders than men, so I'm not making fun of y'all, but it is annoying though. It is a fucking annoying. So, what was the first horror movie that you saw that scared the shit out of you?
Oh my god, Tower of Terror, a Disney movie. It's PG. Why? I don't know. It was just about ghosts in a hotel, and I don't know. I just think the ghost really freaked me out for some reason.
Is it a cartoon or is it like a live movie?
It was a made-for-television movie with Steve Guttenberg and Kristen Dunst. Oh. And when you watch it now, you're like, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what about that movie that scared me. It was just about ghosts and haunting and screaming, all that stuff didn't scare me at all. No. This PG Disney movie, oh yeah.
I've had a lot of people said that the first movie that scared the shit out of them was Wizard of Oz, and I can see that. The Wizard of Oz, especially as a kid, I mean, that movie is kind of fucking creepy.
Yeah. If you think you're in a house and all of a sudden you look outside and there's 1,000 little people singing to you, that's creepy.
I mean, that is a creepy. I've never seen that movie all the way through, but what I've seen, I'm like, oh, I can see why that movie is creepy.
Yeah. You go out and there's 1,000 little people singing to you and thanking you that you killed somebody. It's kind of creepy. Which is that thanks for killing her, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Candyman was like the #1 movie that scared the shit out of me as a kid, and it was because I said before, like the scene where like he cuts the boy's like the little boy's dick off while he's using the bathroom, and like and I was a kid at the time, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't want my dick cut off while I'm using the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I was like paranoid to use the bathroom. I thought Candyman was
So that's why you don't pee in movies now.
No, I did pee in movies. I pee before the movie though. See, right. That's like my first thing I do. I order my tickets online. Thanks to what's the thing I use? That's StubHub. Fandango. I use Fandango. By the way, Fandango is amazing. And I have like the Stubs. I have the Regal Plus. So I get my little points and stuff where I order my tickets beforehand, pick my seats out. Then I go and get my tickets, use the bathroom, get my snacks, and sit down. I'm always there 15, 20 minutes before the movie starts too. I don't like climbing around through the dark looking for my seats. Yeah, but I pee before the movie. Like there hasn't been a movie that I had to like I think the last movie I had to pee through was like one of the Lord of the Ring movies, but that was like because it was like 3.5 hours long.
That's a 4-hour movie. That's
Yeah, it was something ridiculous, and like, I mean, I understand anybody having to pee during that movie.
That's another thing I don't like. You know, you're sitting in a movie that's an hour and a half, and a half an hour into it, people start coming in the movie theater.
Yes, people start coming in there, and then they start putting their cell phone lights on, looking for their fucking seat, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so fucking annoying. It's so, but it's that in the fucking bathroom. People keep getting up and down to use the fucking bathroom. And if they're on your row, you got the reclining seats. You got to pull your seat down, let them go by. It's so fucking annoying.
Reminds me of the old bootleg movies that I used to buy. You would see the people coming
Yes.
coming out and going to the bathroom, and when bootleg movies were a thing 20 years ago.
And do you see the same people who get up like 2 or 3 times on an hour and a half movie, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? Like,
Yeah.
Like they need to just go wear a diaper or something.
Yes, I recommend diapers.
Yeah, like you really got a fucking urinary tract infection or something. Like, sit the fuck down. But the other people who I hate the most, I've said this to a lot of people, is it's an empty fucking theater, and let's say you and your date are sitting on the back row, right? Seats everywhere, and somebody comes and sits right the fuck next to you. I don't understand those fucking people. Like, if I go into a theater, I see 2 people in the back row and everything else, I'm like sitting on another row. Like, I just don't need to be that close to other people.
I was with somebody, and we were going to a movie, and it was assigned seating, right? And the movie was completely empty. So we go in, and she goes, "Where are our seats?" I look at her and I go, "Sit wherever you want. There's no one here."
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Now imagine if somebody came in and they're like, "Well, those are my seats." When you'd be like, "Oh,
I look at you.
empty."
I look at them and go, "Really, really?" Yeah, and then people sit right next to you when the theater's completely empty. It
is fucking, and it's the worst too. I'm telling you now, when you're on as a guy, when you're on a first fucking date or a second date, and you know what guys are trying to do at the movie theater on the first date, and so you are so ladies, I'm gonna give you a secret. Men, we try to pick on the first or second date if we're taking to movies. We try to pick a movie that's been out for a little bit. And the reason why is because we're trying to make our move. So we always try to sit on the back row is called the horny guy row. That's where all the guys on dates that are trying to make that move.
This is an educational podcast.
This is an educational podcast. Now, listen, but you always see a group of women. They clearly see that horny guy row is a full effect. And they come over and they want to sit next to someone on a date. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Are you guys cock blocking? Or is this cock blocking? Or do you want to join in?
I always thought maybe they wanted to join. Look, you never know. Maybe they're lonely.
Because every woman knows what that back row is for. Everybody knows what that back row, especially for a horror movie. Everybody knows what the back row is for. Back row is makeout row. I mean, that's horny guy row. First date row, and like if you're going on that row, you might see anything and everything. You literally might see anything.
Anything and everything. Oh God, I've heard some horror stories.
The back row is where all the filth takes place in a horror movie.
There's something that always bugs me when you go into a movie and it's a really popular movie. You go in. And there's popcorn just all over the floor.
Yes.
There's popcorn just everywhere. It's like something exploded. And you're like, where's the broom? I'll do it myself.
I hate that. I also hate the fucking sticky. But actually, I appreciate the popcorn floors. I also appreciate the sticky floors. I feel like that's part of the movie theater experience. You got to have the popcorn and you got to have the sticky floors.
Well, the last room is sticky.
Yes. The last row is definitely fucking sticky.
Yes. Yes, we know. Education.
I mean, the amount of filth that I've done on the back row of a movie theater over my lifetime. Oh my goodness, I'm going straight to hell. I mean, the shit that I've done back there.
We're all going to hell. It's fine.
Gary, where can everyone find you, my friend?
You could find me on IMDb. Or you can find me on Facebook. Just search my name, and I'm there.
But Gary, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Listen, everybody, check out The Last House of Horror, and also check out some of Gary's other work. Check out his IMDb. Gary, this was fun. Can you talk us out in Donald Trump's voice, please?
I actually have something for you.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, Travis. That's all, folks.
Oh, Porky. Thank you, Porky. Thank you. Everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and this is amazing.
Tremendous.
Have a good one. Tremendous.